You're watching Car Nitty. My name is Mizan, and today I've got a car that I've been after for a very long time. It's no other than a Honda Civic Type-R EP3. So this is actually the second ever Civic Type-R ever made. The first generation was the EK9, but we never got that here in the UK. So if you do see one, it's either going to be a Japanese import or a EK4 engine swapped. EK4 is the standard version of that generation. That was the Adam and Eve to the Civic Type-R badge, and arguably this is the best one they've ever made, because the FN2 was a bit of a letdown for reasons I've already discussed in my review. Please check it out if you haven't already. Soon after that, they all went turbocharged. So really, if you really think about it, there's only 3 Type-Rs that are naturally aspirated, and out of the 3, I'd say this is maybe the best one, or maybe the EK9 if you can get your hands on one. In terms of price, you can pick them up from as little as £3,000. But I'm going to be honest with you, if you get one of them, they're going to be a bit of a shed. They're going to have around 150,000 miles on the clock, and they're going to require a lot of work. So to get into a good one, you need to spend between £5,000 to £7,000. Now, this one is a bit special because it's not your typical EP3. It's a Premier Edition. And those that know will know. And this car comes with a few special trinkets. And that is the Recaro bucket seats, the Momo steering wheel, and a few other things that really make the car stand out above the normal car. In terms of power, this car has got 200 brake horsepower and 197 Nm of torque from a 4-cylinder, naturally aspirated dual VTEC unit, which is also known as the K20 engine. It's paired with a 6-speed manual gearbox, and it sends its power to the front wheels. Now, this car has got fully independent suspension, so it makes it very engaging around the bends. There is one thing to note though, this car has been mapped by MK Performance, so this car is now pushing 248 brake horsepower with a slight increase in torque. I'm sure you can tell that this car is not a stock EP3. It has been very tastefully modified. It's got a very OEM plus look. This car has got the Mugen front grille, Airwalker front lip, body club carbon spoiler, resprayed center console with a Japanese rising sun, K100 ECU, carbon Tegwa induction kit, Skunk 2 inlet manifold, Jap Speed 421 D-cap manifold, 3-inch TDI North exhaust, tactical racing fuel rail, Mitsubishi Evo 9 wheels, pre-facelift rear lights, and eyeback lowering springs. I feel like we've done so much talking now. It's time to finally go for a drive and see what this beast is like. A nice one welcome to CJ.
You alright?
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming down, man.
That's alright.
CJ, man, I think you've got one of the best EP3s I've ever seen, hands down. And I'm not just saying that. I've seen a lot, but this has to be one of the best because it's a Premier Edition, and you're very much like me. You're OEM plus. Yeah, you know, thanks. It's the little things about like this Japanese rising star. Everything just looks so good. I'm actually really excited, man, because I've driven an EP2 and I enjoyed the experience, but it was slow. So this being the proper version, I'm really looking forward to it. This isn't your first Civic Type-R, is it?
No, it's my 8th one.
8th one?
Yep. And
how many of them were EP3s and how many of them were FN2s?
This is my 3rd EP3. I've had 2 FN2s and 2 Accord Type-Rs.
Okay, so a couple of Accords as well, yeah? So out of all of them, so you are unbiased because you've had all of them, right?
Yeah.
Which is the best out of all of them?
The EP3.
Okay, and is that for the obvious reasons that everyone raves on about? Is it for those reasons? Okay.
It is the best.
What do you think about the FN2 then? Because you clearly must have liked some aspect of the FN2 to have own 2, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's got a better interior than this. Yeah. It's a better daily, but this is more of a driver's car.
Okay, but do you feel like the FN2 has a place in the market as a daily drivable Type-R?
Yes,
so
it does.
You feel like you're allowed to like either, if that makes sense, but the EP3 is undoubtedly better.
Yeah, it's a lot more fun, more raw.
Got it. What about the Accord? That's something different.
The Accord, that is so underrated.
Really?
Yeah.
But it's got this K20 engine.
That's got H22 in there.
Okay, so what's the difference between the K20 and the
That's a 2.2 litre.
Okay, so isn't
they're not that tunable, that's the only downside to them.
I see. Okay, well, they're really rare. I mean, I can't remember the last time I saw one.
Yeah. They are really rare now.
Really rare.
They've all rusted away.
Yeah. For some reason, they didn't get as much love as the Civic Type-R, isn't it? I really like your wheels though, yeah. You told me they're Evo 9 wheels, but they look like they're from a DC5.
Yeah, they do look like they're from the DC5, but they're from a Mitsubishi Evo 9.
But that's bumps, and your car was not happy.
Yeah, no, it catches on every speed bump. It's because the exhaust sits slow on these cars.
Ah, the exhaust, yeah, nah, that makes sense. So this was saying, how do you daily drive a car like this, man? I don't get it personally, like it's just too much for me.
Well, I'm normally driving my work van during the week, so
I see.
it's only my free time I get to drive this.
And in that case, you're probably happy to deal with the niggling issues because it's such a nice change for the van.
Yeah, you'd rather have something fun when you're driving than your days off.
So CJ, you got some big plans for this car in the next few months, haven't you?
Yeah.
So right now it's stock with a with a small tune on it.
Old ones, yeah.
So tell me what your future plans are with it.
It's gonna go turbocharged. It's gonna be done by MK Performance.
Okay. Is it still gonna be front wheel drive? Are you planning to?
Eventually, it's gonna go all wheel drive.
Okay, that's exciting, man. But there's a part of me that feels like this is sacrilege because this is a Premier Edition. I mean, your mileage is 75,000 miles. It's extremely low, and this is an 06 model, isn't it?
Yes.
So it's one of the last of the EP3s, and it almost feels like a crime that you do this. I feel like you should go pick one up for £3,000 here, those sheds, and do it to one of them.
You'd have to fix all the rust first.
Yeah, true. But realistically speaking, it almost feels like a crime, man, because it's such a lovely car, man. You must get complimented everywhere you go.
Yeah, I do.
Everywhere you go. But one thing which I think is a scam is that steering wheel. Just because it says Momo, I mean, it's exactly identical to the normal wheel, isn't it?
Yeah, it's exactly the same. It just says one white bottom.
That is crazy. But the seats are a lot more nicer.
Yeah.
A lot more nicer. I mean, they're almost like, they're not quite as comfortable as an FN2 seat, but they're in between what a stock EP3, sorry, and an FN2, isn't it?
Yeah, they just hug you a little more.
Yeah, just a little bit more.
Personally, I think they look better as well.
Yeah, they do. They look a lot more better, and I just love the red and the black contrast. It looks so good, man. But yeah, CJ, man, look, I've been looking forward to this day for a long time, man. Show me what an EP3 is like, man. Go on, show it to me, man. Oh my God, it's like the EP2, but there's so much better in every way. You can really hear the VTEC. Have you got the induction kit, haven't you?
Yes.
So it just makes it sing a lot more.
Yeah.
So we're about to hit a tunnel now, and I can pretty much guess what he's gonna do. Oh, you got to put some bags. Is that back or is that?
It's mapped in.
It's mapped in. But it's very, very subtle though. It's not.
It's only the high revs.
This is exhilarating, I've got to say it, man. And what we're talking about off camera is these Hondas don't have a lot of torque. Like, they don't throw you in your seat.
Yeah.
But once they hit VTEC, it's just a different sensation.
Yeah.
But with the turbo, you're gonna get both.
Yeah, you're gonna
Get both. And now we're hitting another tunnel. Windows down again. Honestly, I have to say, wow. I swear, this car's got an asthma machine. It's such a naturally high revving engine. Look, you're still on, you're not even 7,000 RPM, and it's just singing. Oh my God. Oh my God, I can't believe it, man. This is what everyone says about it feeling more raw. They're not lying. It is way more raw. There's less insulation in the car, so the noise is literally, you can hear it. Then, in terms of handling, like when you go around the bend, I can feel it. This car is more planted. It's not as soft. It's more stiff. Literally, the way people describe it as it's more raw, it literally applies in every scenario, doesn't it?
Yeah. It sticks to the ground.
And you know what's crazy? Brand new, this car was what, 20 grand?
Yeah.
And these cars go for what, 7 grand now. It's barely lost any money over the years.
Yeah.
And they're on the rise, they're only going up.
Yeah, they're going up, especially now they're just carrying on going up.
Especially the Premium, this is the one that everyone wants. And your one is such a low mileage variant. I mean, you've told me, right? The amount of times you go places and people stop you and say, do you want to sell your car?
Yeah.
Will you ever sell this car, or is this something that you don't want to ever let go of?
This car I'm gonna keep, and I'm gonna give it to my son when he's old enough to drive.
Okay.
That's if they're allowed to drive
old's your son there?
He's 3 years old.
3 years old, so proper.
I know about 14, 15 years time.
So it's a proper Dominic Toretto story. He's very Dominic as well. He usually hangs this here, but for the sake of the video, I removed it. But very Dominic, you know. I'm now driving the EP3, and the first thing I have to say is, as a BMW driver, I don't feel like I'm low enough, and I went to adjust my seat, but CJ tells me that you can't adjust the seat. You can only go frontwards and backwards.
Yep.
Is that only with the Premier Edition, with the Recaros, or is that applicable to all of them?
I think that's applicable to all of them.
Okay, that is crazy. I mean, I would genuinely prefer to be a bit more low, but you're saying it's not possible. We have a very special guest in the car. We have Saiful. What? He managed to creep in the car when we were doing the shoot. We didn't even know he was there. Halfway through the journey, we were like, why is there a towel in the backseat? We removed the towel and then he's there. He just really wanted to be part of another video. It's been a while since he's been on the channel. I've driven an FN2 on the channel, and I can feel that this car is a bit more raw, just by driving comfort wise. There's a lot more cabin noise. I can hear the engine even more. Even though I'm in 6th gear doing 50 miles per hour, I can hear the engine more. And these seats are comfortable, I'll give it that, but they're still not as comfortable as the FN2 seats. Like, the center part of our seat is very hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the bolsters are so big. I mean, this car is built for cornering, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm noticing the fact that you have AC in this car. So is that standard on a EP3 or not?
Majority of the Premier Editions I've personally seen don't have AC.
Weight reduction.
Yeah.
But
that's from factory.
That's a creature comfort that I'm gonna be honest, man. It's not worth the weight reduction. It's not worth the weight reduction.
It's not in the summer, especially.
I have to say, man, this car is a genuine legend. Without even put my foot down, there's a sense of occasion when you drive this car that I didn't get with the FN2. I can tell that I'm in a very special car, you know? I don't know, maybe it's because of it's a Premier Edition and the way you've got the Japanese rising stuff. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the mods or the car, but this car feels a lot more special than the FN2.
Even the mapped FN2 don't actually feel like it's mapped.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they're extra heavyweight?
Yeah, because I had 2 of them and they're both mapped.
Up until now, I've been doing a bit of comfort driving just to see what it's like as a daily driver, and I have to say, I fully understand why some people would pick an FN2. I get it. I can't dispute it. If you're one of those people that think, oh, you bought an FN2 because you cheaped out, realistically, they genuinely might have bought it because they needed to daily drive it, and this just wasn't practical enough. The way VTEC just opens up, man. It does have considerable amount of torque in the sense of in between gears. If I take my foot off the gas, it does. I love your steering. It's so heavy. It's not so heavy. It's just perfectly weighted, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't get a handle like this in new cars. And every time I drive an old car, it's the biggest thing I always put. I love the steering, because modern cars, they just don't feel good anymore, man.
Yeah, they're too light.
They're too light. You just don't feel the road. It's synthetic. This is just pure, real steering. 3, 2, 1, go. A proper pull because of the traffic, you must honestly go flat out in this car whenever you're in it. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't. The thing is, you can do that in any gear. So technically speaking, you can do that everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Honestly, man, this gearbox is so tight, and I'm actually starting to see the appeal of having the gearbox there, because look, my hands can just go straight from gearbox to car straight away. Doesn't it?
Yeah, you hear the VTEC a lot more.
I swear, this car is so engaging with the manual gearbox. Like, so on a lot of cars, right, manual cars, I feel like 2nd and 3rd gear is all you need. In this car, it's 3rd and 4th, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you're always just going up and down. 3rd and 4th, that's all you need.
Yeah.
Because on some cars, I can do 60 miles per hour on second gear, but I don't think I can do that in this car. So third and fourth is the 2 gears to be in. So we've got another bit of a little tunnel here. Dropping the car into gear 2. And it's a front-wheel drive car. Ooh. I have to say, this is something that it deserves to be turboed. It's such a raw experience, and I think on turboing it will only make the car a better experience.
Makes it go crazy.
Exactly, but even out of the package, out of the box, this is such an enjoyable car. It really is. And this car, although it wasn't built in the 90s, it was built in the early 2000s, 2001 to be exact. It just has this very old school feel to it, because visually it looks its age. It looks early 2000s, but drive-wise, it's old school as hell. I also drove a Mark IV GTI on the channel, and that was a competitor to this car. If you really think about it, I know this is a later model, but it was a competitor, and I have to say that that car doesn't hold a candle to this. And people like the Mark IV. It has a very cult following because of how old school it is. But this car, hands down, it's an amazing car, and I'm so excited when you get boosted, because we're gonna take it down the countryside, aren't we? And we're gonna then see what this car is capable of. This review has been a long time coming. I've had an itch to drive an EP3 ever since I drove the EP2, and driving the FN2 just made the urge stronger. And finally, I can say it's been scratched. I didn't think it would feel that different compared to the FN2, but the weight and suspension handicaps make all the difference. But saying that, the FN2 was so much more comfy, and it still has a place on the market at a cheaper price. CJ is a proper JDM fanatic. If I cut him, he'd probably bleed the same colours as the Honda emblem, red. You know what I mean. It wouldn't surprise me if he's got a tramp stamp with a red H or the rising sun rays on his bum cheeks. He's that crazy about the brand. It has to be said, CJJ, or CJ Jr., is a lucky lad. The EP3 is only growing in value, so not only will he have a monetary asset to his name, he'll also be driving a car that by then will be undisputed in the history books as the best Civic Type-R ever. Not a bad inheritance, I must say. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe if you're not already, and we'll see you soon. Take care.